All right, hey everyone, Jammer here from Jammer's Wrestling Magazine collection, and today I'm going to do something that's going to be super fun for me because I'm going to talk about the year of 1995 for wrestling magazines. This was single-handedly my favorite year in wrestling. I kid you not. I loved 1995. I loved everything about it, and I don't know why. I should say this, though. I loved it for WWF. WCW at times was kind of but I digress. We'll get into that because I have a lot of magazines today to show you because I just have a lot of 1995. And we start off with, of course, as per usual, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. There it is. Tatanka buries the hatchet in the hearts of the fans. Tatanka turning heel, becoming a bad guy, a villain, joining the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, in the $1 Million Corporation. Everyone thought it was going to be Lex Luger at SummerSlam. It wasn't. Razor Ramon is the profile close-up. And this is interesting. Here we go. ECW, to hell with the NWA. This is when, NWA Eastern Championship Wrestling was running, and Todd Gordon had like the NWA name with him, kind of like back in the 80s with Mid-Atlantic with NWA and Georgia Championship Wrestling in the NWA. And Shane Douglas was the ECW champion, of course, won the NWA title from Too Cold Scorpio. And the rest is history. Threw the title belt down in that famous interview. And ECW is off and running. Now, The Wrestler, January 1995. We get our holiday wish list for 1995. And again, we see ECW on the cover there with Sabu. So ECW is really, getting noticed now. They're really picking up steam. Question and answer with the new U.S. heavyweight champion, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who destroyed Steve Austin in like 30 seconds. Johnny B. Bad, the television champ. WCW, they were doing okay here. They were. But Duggan, that was a WWF guy, right? So there's a holiday wish list. So yeah, that is the wrestler one. Put this down here a bit to get a better view of them. Inside Wrestling, talking about Vader Mania for January. I'll squash Hogan like a bug. Feel the pain. It says here, Diesel and Razor, the WWF's next dream team. Well, not WWF's dream team, but WCW's, and that would, of course, happen a year and a half later. So, there's a nice profile on Owen Hart there, the King of Hearts. Back here in Inside Wrestling, of course, this is the match results they'd give you, and that was kind of neat to see. And there it is, Razor and Diesel. Shawn Michaels' nightmare is coming true. So, there is that. Up next, Sports Review Wrestling, still making magazines in 1995. This is it here. Jerry Lawler, the Lion King. Bob Backlund embraces evil. Why? And we thought we'd never see it. Ric Flair, stepping stone for Sting. There's probably posters in this. Let me see here. Unless they're oh wait, no. There we have Andre the Giant and John Tolos. Here we have Freddie Blassie and the Great Goliath. Let's see, where is there other ones in here? Yeah. Where are they at? There is Roddy Piper and is that Dick Slater? Yeah. Dirty Dick Slater. Oh, there's a profile on the ECW champ, Shane Douglas. Last CD bought, Pearl Jam versus. So Shane Douglas was a Pearl Jam fan. His favorite athlete is Alf Samuelson. I figured it would have been Mario Lemieux, being that he's from, the Pittsburgh thing. I know Alf played for Pittsburgh too, but oh well. And we got Bam Bam Bigelow bloodying the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This had to have been in Florida? Yeah, in 1989. Yeah, Bigelow was there. Man, Bam Bam Bigelow was everywhere, wasn't he? Like, he just didn't stay places that long. No wonder the guy didn't really have much success overall, right? He should have been champion many times, and he just never was. Also, for January, this is gonna be interesting. We're now getting into the WCW magazine. Yes, this is the first one. There was a WCW magazine before, of course, that was written by the Stanley Weston crew. This is, of course, just WCW's own now. They're like, we're taking over. We got Hogan here. They have the 1994, the year in review. So they have, look how big this magazine is too, right? It's just, especially if you don't watch this. Look at that. I can't even get the WCW one really in the full shot. It's just ridiculous. But yeah, there's the year in review for 1994. So these magazines are all colored. They're all, it's like a glossy style of paper. It's pretty good that way. There's a nice poster there of the Stinger. So sure, I'll give it props for that it wasn't newsprint style, but I don't like how big they are. I'm guessing they made it that big so it would get noticed more so than the other magazines, which cool. I get. Also, we have this. January 95, we got King Kong Bundy on the cover with Jameson and the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. So this was Bundy's return to the WWF since leaving in early 1988. I think his last televised event was Saturday Night's Main Event of January 88. And then he came back in summer of 94 and joined the $1 Million Man's Corporation team. So, up next now is February 1995. And we got, look at that. That's WCW Civil War. There's all the WWF guys right there. Well, ex-WWF stars spark a revolution. Not really, right? Well, Hogan took over, but there's that's a weird Johnny B. Bad poster. And, of course, this has the infamous burn photos of Abdullah the Butcher when he got burned by Abdullah Singh. I don't even know how you pronounce that, but it was Balls Mahoney. It was Balls, I believe it was that guy. So there's that. I'll put that there. I'm gonna move this back a bit now so we can get more things in the frame here, more pictures in the frame. I only have a little bit of room to work with here. I'm trying the best to work with it. So here we go now. We got The Wrestler, February 95. Hulkamaniac, why Vader should be deathly afraid of Hogan. There he is. That's Halloween Havoc, the steel cage match. That's when Hogan ended Ric Flair's career until, I want to say Rick got reinstated maybe April of 95, maybe. I remember he dressed in drag at I want to say Uncensored, trying to help Vader beat Hogan. But yeah, Hulkamaniac. Right there. The steel cage match. There's Sherry getting involved. The Steiners bring them back to America. The Steiners, of course, they would have been in Japan at the time. And Rick did come back to wrestle in... I'm going to move that. It's bugging me how big that is there. He came back to wrestle for... ECW. He tagged with Taz in March, or was it either February or March of 95 in a match with Benoit and Malenko and the Public Enemy. So let's see. Next up, Inside Wrestling. It's getting ugly. Wrestling's losing its greatest heroes. What's up with the faces here? Look at this. We got Tatanka making a weird face. Beefcake, I don't even know how he's doing that with his eye. Backlund looks weird. I'm guessing these photos might be altered a bit. I hope. I'm not entirely sure how they're doing that. But yeah, we got a profile here on the bad guy, Razor Ramon, the Intercontinental Champion at the time. The media is ruining my career, says Sting. You know, again, the match is there. Bruiser Bedlam here. I remember hearing about him, and well, I mean, I knew of him before, but the Dark Side of the Ring gave some pretty amazing, funny information on that guy. So that's something. Next up would be this one. The Macho Man, Randy Savage on the cover. I had this magazine as a kid. I had this one. Live action coverage of Clash of the Champions. And also they give you sweet photos on the front and back too of these, so that's kind of neat. But yeah, definitely, you know, there's the Horseman there. Look at that. That's from '93. So, oh yeah, this book's seen better days. So I got to be careful with it. Let's see. Next up. Now, this is my favorite magazine of 1995. I loved it so much as a teenager. Here it is. Diesel captures the title. There it is. Big Daddy Cool himself with the WWF Championship. Of course, I believe I think I told this story before in one of my videos. I'll tell it again. The night Diesel captured the championship from Bob Backlund in Madison Square Garden in New York, there was a WWE event for that I went to in Canada at London, Ontario, at the London Gardens, and the main event was Lex Luger defeating Tatanka. So my father took me to that event, and we watched it, and yeah, it was cool. It was my first wrestling event, and I didn't know any better. I was like, oh, this is great, Lex Luger versus Tatanka. This is exciting. It wasn't until, you know, as years went on, I realized that the night I watched Lex Luger defeat Tatanka, I could have seen my favorite wrestler, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, defeat Mr. Bob Backlund for the WWF Championship. So I feel a little ripped off there, but that's, I mean, that happens, right? There's A house shows and B house shows, and I definitely saw the B house show. Next up now is March. March of 1995. We get 1994, the year in wrestling, for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. There it is. The Hulkster did it all. He's Wrestler of the Year. Look at that trophy, too. That's a giant Wrestler of the Year trophy. But let's see who all won the awards here. 911 won Rookie of the Year. Bret Hitman Hart won Inspirational Wrestler of the Year. Big Daddy Cool Diesel won Most Improved Wrestler of the Year. Hulk Hogan won Comeback of the Year. Jimmy Hart won Manager of the Year. Bret Hart versus Owen Hart was Feud of the Year. Sting won Most Popular Wrestler of the Year. Mr. Bob Backlund won Most Hated Wrestler of the Year. Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels in their infamous ladder match at WrestleMania 10 was Match of the Year. The Nasty Boys were Tag Team of the Year. And the look at the runners-up, the Head Shrinkers, Public Enemy, and Rock and Roll Express. So tag team wrestling in 1994, definitely a lot different than the 80s. And Wrestler of the Year was Hulk Hogan, with runners-up Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, and Ric Flair. So there they are. Those are your winners. 1995 March for the Wrestler gives us 1994 Spectacular Special Issue. Again, ECW makes the cover here with Sabu and Cactus Jack. We get, you know, Hogan and Mr. T there, Diesel, the ladder match, Bret and Owen. I'm sure there's colored photos in here, probably. Yep. There's Cactus Jack missing the ear. There's Smoky Mountain Wrestling and WWF ladder matches. There's the Hulkster. There's some ECW. So we only get a few colored things there, right? Not a lot. And of course, unfortunately, the wrestlers who passed away that year. So there is that. Inside Wrestling, March of 95, we get predictions. And there we see Sting, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, and Hulk Hogan on the cover. Razor Ramon is up there. Why Razor Ramon is afraid of the world title? Well, Razor Ramon never did win a world title, so Lightning Kid, 1-2-3 Kid and Man of War Aldo Montoya. I guess I don't know what they're talking about there, but let's see. Oh, there it is. Not enough. Not macho enough. Yeah, well, it's not really his say, is it? It's the promoter's say. There's Honky Tonk Man. He gets the capsule profile. Now for March of 95, we have Sports Review Wrestling. And we have like a book on the outside too, a small tiny book. It's like a calendar. That was kind of neat. They give you like the birthdays of the wrestlers and what happened that month in history. But we have Hulk Hogan, a title loss to Vader, Razor Ramon, a bad guy, Sting, the face paint will go, and Bret Hart, a feud with Flair. No. I don't think any of that happened that year, if any year. Here we see Skandor Akbar and Mike Davis, Maniac Mike Davis, taking fire to the face. And here is Kendall and Barry Windham working on Kevin Sullivan. That's got to be down in Florida. There's Stunning Steve Austin there. Let's see, what other? We got Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and Road Warrior Animal here from the old Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling days, no doubt, NWA style. And Tommy Rogers and who's that? Is that Tully Blanchard? Tully. So, all right. Next up for when was that? What was I looking at? Oh, March. Sorry. Wow, I just got a brain fart there. Holy crap. We should do this though. Spring of 95 now. Wrestle America, because they always, came out quarterly. So, Color Him Bitter. Randy Savage. Why another feud with Hulk Hogan is inevitable. Again, 104 pages for this because you get the magazine within the magazine, your 1995 Guide to Independent Wrestling. Now, this was cool that Wrestle America did this. There's Carlos Colon and Dutch Mantel, but they would go through and show you like different wrestling promotions, where what's going on in them. Like you got American Commonwealth Wrestling, you have Century Wrestling Alliance, Extreme Championship Wrestling, of course, was still independent enough to be classified that it's here. Steel City Wrestling, United States Wrestling League. Like, what are half of these places, right? And they even show them if they're on TV, like what channel they're on and such. So, it was a cool concept. They did it once a year. Look at this guy. This is Morgus the Maniac, and doesn't he look exactly like Brody Lee, a.k.a. Luke Harper? Look at that. That's uncanny. But yeah, so, that's what this gave us. They gave us like a look inside what's going on around the, North America. They would talk about Canada even and such like that at times in here. So it was just very cool that Wrestle America would do that and go into such great depths too to let us fans know that there are other wrestling organizations out there besides WWF and WCW. March also gives us here this. The Hitman. The Hitman Bret Hart. He made the cover here for Lonesome Dove. Remember that? That was quite the show. But Bret Hart looks like he was going Hollywood here. That was the feel, right? So, but no, Bret took time off to do Lonesome Dove, and WWF had to show that. I also made a mistake here, I noticed. These issues of WCW magazine started in March. I thought they started in January, so I'm actually 2 months ahead on here. So I'll wait to get to the May one when May comes. That's weird that they started in March. I figured they would have started that in January, but apparently not. Okay, up next now, we have April. There it is, PWI. WWF title turmoil. We got Diesel as the champ, and we got Bull Nakano as the women's champ, showing both off. Here we have Sabu as the poster. More Hogan with WCW, and Avalanche and the Butcher going after him. Let's see what else. There it is, Diesel dazed. Why he can't handle the pressure of being WWF champion. Photos of the match where he beat Bob Backlund. Because at the time, you didn't really see much video of it. It happened at a house show. They kind of showed some of it on TV. Well, pretty much they showed the whole thing on TV, right? The match is only like 8 seconds long, 10 seconds or something like that. But they only showed that. I don't think they really showed the intro and everything. But you do get to see it on a DVD called I think it was The Best of Madison Square Garden or something that came out about, I don't know, I want to say 10, maybe less than 10 years ago. It's hard to say because time goes by so fast, but I do know Diesel and Bob Backlund, the complete match from intro to outro and everything, is on the DVD or Blu-ray, whatever you own. April of 95 for the wrestler is a mind-boggling special section. If the Von Erichs had all lived, if Ultimate Warrior had died in the coffin, if Hulk Hogan had lost the loser leaves wrestling match, it was pretty much like what if, right? There's Dangerous Devon Storm, who became Crowbar in WCW. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know where that. Oh yeah, what if Lex Luger didn't body slam Yokozuna? And the Von Erichs one, that's kind of morbid though. What if they'd all lived? Like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but still. So yeah, that's that for the wrestler. Inside Wrestling, April 95, gives us the 1995 Inside Wrestling Computer Tournament. There we've got Lex Luger, Diesel, Big Van Vader, Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, all on the cover there. Who's going to win? Let's find out. I'm going to take a look here and see. Well, the finals were Diesel and Big Van Vader. Of course, they're showing a picture of Vinny Vegas here when Nash was Vinny in WCW against Vader. So let's see who won. Vader wins the series in the tournament 4-2. There it is at the bottom. There's a picture of Diesel. And, of course, the picture of Vader. So, Big Van Vader takes that win. So, that was WCW beating the WWF champion. Vader wasn't even champion here. Hogan was. So, I wonder if they actually used some sort of computer, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a computer file or something to figure out who's going to win, right? Like some sort of like, what do you call those? I forget what they were called. I used to do those games back in the day where you can like make matches on your computer and the computer would run through and pick your winner. I wonder if that's how they figured that out, actually based by a computer, but who knows? Now we have, for April, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and Pamela Anderson from, of course, Baywatch, and lesser known fact, maybe Home Improvement. She was on Home Improvement as well with Tim Allen. But the HB Kid hits the surf with sultry Pamela Anderson. Raw Diesel, Big Daddy Cool tells all in explosive interviews. So there it is. That I believe, I don't know if I have the poster still of that was in there. I think I might. Yeah, I think I do. So I had doubles of this magazine. So I took the poster out. There it is. Pam Anderson and Shawn Michaels. That was on the beach for the Royal Rumble and going into WrestleMania and everything. So that is Pam Anderson in 1995 was pretty hot though, right? And so was the whole Baywatch scene and everything. That was a popular show, so no surprise that she was picked up by the WWF to be used at that time. Also, I should say this, there was 2 issues of this magazine. This was another one, the same month, A Matter of Pride, but his LT crossed the boundaries. So I believe this one was brought out in the USA, I think. I think this was like the American version. The Shawn and Pam was the Canadian version, and it may be one of the reasons could be because Pamela Anderson is from Canada. But I don't know for sure. I'm just taking a guess on that as to why this was the American release and Shawn and Pam was the Canadian one. But every time, it seems like this was the American one. Like if I look up on eBay.com for this one shows up more than that one. And if you look up on Canada, it's the Shawn and Pam one that shows up. So I'm thinking that's how it went. I could be wrong on that, but it just feels like from what I've seen, that's how that went. That the LT one was more so for American people than the Shawn and Pam. Next up now is May 1995, and we get on the cover. There it is. Derailing Diesel. Will Big Daddy Cool defrost at WrestleMania? There he is. The W. Let me get that. The WW. Come on, get up, Inside Wrestling. There we go. The WWF champion on the cover, which is how it should be, right? He's the champ. In here, we got a poster of the Stinger, looking all Sting-like as he can. We find the. We also get, you know, some more ECW footage. There's Sabu going with after the Public Enemy. Let's see if I can find the Diesel. Is the Diesel story in here? Where's that at? Oh, here it is. Yeah. So, I mean, Diesel, people can say what they want about the guy as champion. They say he wasn't good or that he almost, you know, destroyed the WWF that year. I don't know. I mean, WWF still survived. And if he was really that bad, then how is it that he and Scott Hall, like, helped make WCW, like, the #1 place, right? You're telling me people hate Diesel, but yet will tune into WCW to see him show up every week with Razor Ramon, Diesel and Razor invading WCW. Diesel couldn't have been that bad of a champion, right? Let's be honest. May of 95 also gives us on the wrestler Sting versus Savage. Why? They'll soon be at each other's throats. They would be as years went on. I don't think they were here though, right? They were still good guys and helping out the Hulkster any way they could. Oh, and this is nice. May 95, Inside Wrestling. Shawn Michaels exposed. We get the Heartbreak Kid on the cover here. Let's take a look here. What's he exposed? Oh, there's interesting. Downsizing Diesel. A Wrestler's Guide to Toppling the 7-footer. Oh, I mean, I don't know where the Shawn Michaels thing is in here, but I'm sure it's good if I can find it. Let me see here. Hold on. Is there any photo? I mean, there should be. They have them on the cover. I don't see it in here. Oh, well. Whatever. But yeah, Shawn's there. So if you're a fan of Shawn Michaels and you enjoy cover photos, that's probably a good one to get. Let's see. May now. Oh, here we go. We got Sports Review Wrestling. I had this magazine as a kid. There we got the Mega Powers reunite, now bring back the Mega Woman. They did. Miss Elizabeth did come back to WCW in 1996 when Macho was champion and Hogan was by his side. Revealed Dread, Danger for Diesel, and Aldo Montoya Wrestling's Power Ranger. They must have posters in here still. Yeah. Yeah, we get... Oh, I think I showed this before. Hacksaw and Hulkster and Dr. D. And yeah, Ronnie Garvin and Ivan Koloff and Larry Zbyszko and Nick Bockwinkel. So, all right. May of 1995. Here we go. Back to the WCW ones now. So this is the third issue of May now. It's Super Brawl 5, full coverage inside. Vader in the hot seat. So again, showing you the matches. Nice colored photos. You know, you can't go wrong with that. Especially as a teenager or kid, you're going to... Like, look at that. That is super cool. The Hulkster there on the motorcycle. Maybe not so for like people in their 20s or 30s. They probably look down on that era of WCW. But I kind of looked down on it too. Like I said, 1995 wasn't a great year, but it still gave us some cool moments. I'll say that at least. It gave us the horrible uncensored 95. That was hilarious, right? So we had that. And May of 95 for the WWF gives us Lex Luger with Michael Jordan. Is Michael Jordan now going to come to the WWF? We have Lawrence Taylor. Will MJ come in? I mean, he tried baseball. That didn't work. But no, I believe that was a golf tournament that Lex met Michael Jordan at, and a photo was taken for sure, and it was put on the cover because why not? Talk about a dream team. Lex and Air Jordan join forces for a worthy cause. So that's kind of neat. Oh, this is good too. The Undertaker's childhood revealed. They just took photos of like this kid with like long hair and like had him do like, you know, weird Undertaker like things. It was so ridiculous. But that's the WWF for you, right? Up next is June 95. The 1995 PWI poll. I talked about this before. This goes through and gives you, oh, there's a sweet photo of the Steiners. They're back, apparently. I didn't, back from Japan, I guess, because there's the Japanese photos. But yeah, they talk about who's going to win the polls. Ooh, look at that. Jim Cornette, A Bloody Mess. I'm guessing this is from Smoky Mountain. Clearly, because there's New Jack. Oh, yeah, it is. The Rock and Roll Express helping Jim Cornette. So who would have thunk that, eh? Only in the year 1995 do we get that. June 95 for the Wrestler has the British Bulldog on the cover. Look at that. He's barking and ready to bite. The British Bulldog demands a title shot now. And we got colored photos in the Wrestler now. Look at that. We're doing top 10s. Jeff Jarrett's top 10 favorite country music. 8 impossible feats Hulk Hogan proved weren't so impossible. Sid Vicious's 10 favorite people named Sid. And Sabu's 10 favorite things to smash. So the Wrestler now getting into the colored photos. I mean, maybe that might help sell the magazine. Maybe they were having issues. I don't know. It went up in price by $1. So it was $2.50 Canadian before. Now it's $3.50 because of those sweet colored photos we got. Up next is Inside Wrestling, June 95. The beginning of the end. Will Hulk Hogan get burned by friendly fire? And of course, we got revealed who begged Brett, let Owen beat you. So again, not too bad. There's Vader in the profile photo. Next up, we have summer of 95 for Wrestle America. Who will survive the mega war of Hogan and Vader? That's in here. Again, 104 pages because it's a magazine within a magazine. Your Wrestling Megastars Fact and Trivia book. We see Razor Ramon, Sting, Diesel, Vader, Sabu, and Hogan on the cover there. We got the Hulkster right here, a nice photo. And we got, who else? Jerry the King Lawler in a photo. There's Vader. And we got, wow, Tamara Murphy Fitch. There's Sunny in her Smoky Mountain wrestling days. Not too bad, right? No wonder us teenagers were a fan of hers. Now, we get June of 95 for WCW. We get Sting demands Hogan give me a title shot. Did he? Did he demand that? I don't remember him saying it, but we have it talked about here. There's some photos from Uncensored. Like I said, there's that ridiculous semi-truck match with Dustin Rhodes and the Blacktop Bully, which got both men fired. So there's Ric Flair, who's a woman here. So, yeah, interesting. Really, really interesting book. Wait, is there a centerfold in here? Usually they put centerfold. Oh, yeah, there's Macho Man, Randy Savage is the centerfold. For June of 95, for the WWF, we get Big Daddy Cool Diesel on the cover with the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. This, of course, the day after WrestleMania 11, when Psycho Sid snapped powerbomb Shawn Michaels 3 times. Shawn instantly becomes a babyface, and Diesel comes down for the rescue. So there it is, the beginning humbling tag team again of Diesel and Shawn Michaels. The dudes with attitudes were back together. Okay, up next now is July. July 95 for PWI. We get Hulk Hogan saying, I can't take it anymore. As he can't take being in WCW, I really don't know, but there it is. It's a sweet looking photo of the Hulkster though. He's ready. There's Bam Bam Bigelow. That's an old photo of Bam Bam Bigelow. That's probably from like 1990 maybe with that outfit. I remember he wore that in WCW then when he was a heel, a bad guy, right? Press conference with Kevin Sullivan. There's the Hulkster one. It's lonely at the top, especially at the top of the wrestling world. Nothing's good enough for anybody. Your greatest accomplishments are criticized. If you were Hulk Hogan, you'd also say, I can't take it anymore. So there it is, the Hulkster. He just can't take it anymore, brother. But in July for the Wrestler, we get Hulk Hogan on the cover saying Hulk Hogan's contract with America. So looks like the Hulkster could take it, and he took it well because he seems to be very happy now and content during the same month. So LT doesn't mean last time. Lawrence Taylor will be back after WrestleMania. He was not. He was not. This magazine now $275. So we had photos for that one to make it go up to $350, and now we dropped it to $275. Still 25 cents higher than the original price. So good job, magazine. You caught us there. July 95 for Inside Wrestling, we actually get ECW on the cover. There's Sabu giving Mikey Whipwreck a top rope Frankensteiner, or Hurricanrana, whatever you want to call it. They have colored photos in here, I believe. Yeah. There's Sabu in a meat locker, it looks like. We got another picture of Tamara Murphy Fitch there, Sunny in her Smoky Mountain days. She's the coolest babe. Shawn Michaels is the coolest dude. And, the barbed wire baseball bat match between Axel and Ian Rotten. So, yeah, ECW getting mentioned big time there. Not too shabby for them. Now, they're really coming through. Next up for July would be Return to Space Mountain. Ric Flair in the hot seat. The Nature Boy. Looks like he's got either Marcus Bagwell or the Patriot there, judging by those tights and boots. Let's see the poster here. It's of the Nasty Boys. They're the poster. WCW Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel, tough enough to lay down law and order. That's right, Nick Bockwinkel, of course, the commish for WCW at that time. And I believe it ended up being J.J. Dillon after that. I remember he was that in the Monday Night War era. So also now, July 95, we get the Knights of the Squared Circle. Anyone who is a king is there. We see Jerry the King Lawler, King Kong Bundy, Elvis is there. Someone from the LA Kings, I'm guessing. So yeah, again, kind of some of these magazine covers, the WWF, not the greatest, but some are. So now we get into August 95. And I've showed this magazine before, so I don't really need to go into great detail. It's this one here with the women on the cover. And as we all know, the poster for this one is Big Van Vader. So, yeah. Vader makes the cut for the poster there for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. The Wrestler, August 95. I like this one. This is Shawn Michaels and Big Daddy Cool Diesel on the cover. I want to say this was from, that picture right there is from the WrestleMania 11 thing they did in New York, like days before, where they had this thing like down by Times Square, and they got face to face. But yeah, this was I remember I bought this one because of that alone. Diesel and Shawn on the cover. I had to have it. Got it. All right. What do we got next? We got August 95, Inside Wrestling. WrestleMania 11, the winner's the loser. So there's pretty much just talking about, the show. Let's see. They go into a little bit of, really some good detail here for it, which is nice. So that's all right. If you didn't see the show, that magazine right there will definitely help out with that. Next up for August, we got WCW with the Nasty Boys on the cover. Nasty's Chill the Heat and celebrate three-peat in the hot seat. So yes, Nasty Boys became 3-time WCW Tag Team Champions, defeating Harlem Heat. That was Harlem Heat's first loss for the title belts, I believe. And there we have the Blue Bloods, Earl Robert Eaton and Lord Steven Regal as the centerfold. Also for August, we get a cool cover here of Bret Hitman Hart, Razor Ramon, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and Alundra Blaze on the cover enjoying a nice beach outing. The Boys and Girl of Summers. The Boys and Girl of Summer. Oh, I get it. Okay, the Boys and Girl of Summer. Nice. Oh, boy. WWF is so cheesy at times, right? But I still liked it then. What can I say? All right, next up now we got fall. Or being September, I should say. Sorry, I don't know why I said fall. September. We got WrestleMania 11 again. I think, did I say 11 for this one? I think I did. I don't know if I said 9. I think I said 11 though. WrestleMania 11 again. So this pretty much is the same. I mean, August we get it here in Inside Wrestling. September for PWI we get it. So anything you read the month before, you're probably going to read again in here, right? So, oh, and Diesel is the centerfold, of course, which is nice. So, again, if you just miss out on that, then this will definitely keep you up to date on what happened at WrestleMania 11. September 95 for The Wrestler. We get WWF Mid-Year Report. Brett, another title. Sid, still Psycho. Jeff, Bonafide Champ. Diesel, Wrestler of the Half Year. Undertaker, a dead career. Shawn, an A for effort. So they go into... Oh, there's one. There's Bam Bam Bigelow again. Again, a photo from like 1990. Big Daddy Cool Diesel with the WWF title. Lex Luger, the total package, it says. He wasn't called that in the WWF. And Psycho Sid, Devious and Deviant. And we get Terry Funk and Cactus Jack here, an article on ECW. So it's nice to see that that was being covered and helping ECW grow each time, right? Because a lot of people didn't get ECW on television back in that era. I was lucky enough to get it in 94 on Channel 38, and then it went off the air. I didn't get it again until 1996 when me and a few friends got a satellite dish and got it that way. And then, but yeah, it was hard to see. You almost had to order the tapes off of RF Video back in the day to see it. For Inside Wrestling, we have he's back, but it's the biggest mistake of his life. That's when Ric Flair returned to WCW to wrestle. He was no longer retired. So, and then we have UFC NWA champ Dan Severn proves wrestlers are the toughest athletes in the world. And what puts the Psycho and Psycho Sid? I don't think there's any posters in this one, though, is there? No. So, let's see now. So we got, September right here, another one. Sports Review Wrestling. We have the wrestlers were in the O.J. Simpson trial. We have Ron Simmons as O.J. Simpson, Mr. Fuji as Judge Ito, Ric Flair as Robert Shapiro, Sister Sherry as Marcia Clark, and Brian Pillman is Kato Kalin. So, man, Sports Review Wrestling really reaching here, weren't they? I mean, that's kind of... Oh, and a story on the AWF. Now, let me talk a little bit about the AWF. That was a wrestling company that wrestled with rounds. A lot of ex-WWF guys were there. Tito Santana was the champ. Cowboy Bob Orton was there. Greg Valentine and Tommy Rich were the tag champs. They feuded with the Road Warriors who were there. So it was different. But here are some posters. We got Ivan Putski and Bulldog Brower. We got Superstar Billy Graham and Maniac Mark Lewin. And let's see who else we got for posters in here. Oh, that's... Joe LeDuc, and who's he wrestling there? Bruiser Brody. Okay, Bruiser Brody and Joe LeDuc. And here we got Dick Murdoch, and who's he wrestling here? Frank Dusek. Destroying Frank Dusek with a brain buster probably on the floor. Ouch. I remember, of course, in Mid-South, I think it was like 1980, 84 maybe? I think it was 84 when he threw Ted DiBiase into the ring post and busted him wide open right before Ted's match with Ric Flair for the NWA World title. That was a bloody mess. For fall, now that's why I'm thinking fall because of this magazine, because this would be September for Wrestle America. A half ton of holy hell, Diesel versus Yokozuna, the match the promoters are afraid to make. And of course, this is the magazine within a magazine. So we get the main event, because it's all about the bloody matches. There we see Axel and Ian Rotten with barbed wire. Of course, Ian Rotten's forehead would look very disgusting as time went on, and this picture comes out. So apparently, there's Mr. Hughes bloodied with Abdul the Butcher. Let's see, what else is there? Is there another poster in here? No, the other one's ripped out. So there's just one in there. That's why. Wonder what the other poster was, eh? I guess I'll never know. Unless I buy another one of these books. Which I guess I could if I wanted to look for it. Okay, now we got September 95. We have the Ultimate War. Wait, that's not the Ultimate Warrior. Who's the Renegade? Who the hell's the Renegade, right? Uncensored 95. Everyone thought it was the Ultimate Warrior coming back to return, to come to WCW to help Hulk Hogan. Who the hell was the Renegade? He looked like the Warrior, and that was probably the biggest problem right there. You don't make a guy look like another guy who's famous. It just doesn't work. Anyway, let's see. Ooh, there's Diamond Dallas Page and Kimberly, the Diamond Doll. Can you see that photo of them? Yeah, this book is so big. Poster, oh, there it is, of the Renegade and Jimmy Hart. And Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck. Yeah, see, stuff like that. Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck, they were tag champions. Like, why? Why were they tag champions? But I guess it worked. They were champions for a while. Up next, we have, for September, a really sweet photo on the cover of the WWF magazine of Shadowed by a Psycho can Shawn straitjacket Sid. There's, of course, the photos of Sid in Shawn's sunglasses. Exclusive SummerSlam preview talking about what was coming up for SummerSlam. Of course, those matches changed. It was supposed to be Shawn and Sid. It didn't happen. It ended up being Shawn and Razor. I believe Razor Ramon and Savio Vega were supposed to wrestle Yokozuna and Owen Hart for the tag titles. That match never happened, of course. The tag title match wasn't even defended. Like, there was no tag titles on SummerSlam that year in 1995. Up next, we have October. In October, for PWI, we get Razor's Edge. Ramon still cuts it as the bad guy. So Razor Ramon on the cover, of course, he just got done feuding with Jeff Jarrett for the Intercontinental title. Shawn Michaels ended up beating Jarrett for it. So Razor was kind of out of the title picture there for a while, right? There's Harlem Heat as the centerfold. Booker T and Stevie Ray. Let's see here. What else do we got? Oh, yeah. Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson winning the NWA World Tag Titles for a 5th time. Of course, the NWA Tag Titles were like an independent organization now, pretty much, right? There's Razor Ramon here. And look at that. There's a picture of him here with the USWA heavyweight title. He beat superstar Bill Dundee for it in Memphis. So I believe he did that a few days after WrestleMania 11. He couldn't win the Intercontinental title from Jeff Jarrett, so he went to Memphis and won that. Now, does that count as a world title? I mean, the USWA heavyweight title is actually the old AWA world title that Jerry Lawler never gave back to Vern Gagne. When they unified the titles at that Super Clash 3, when Lawler beat Kerry Von Erich to retain the AWA title, his Memphis title, and win the World Class Championship Wrestling title, they just used the AWA world title as the belt for all 3 titles. And Lawler left the AWA, went back to Memphis, and took that belt with him. And that belt stayed there ever since. So technically, maybe Scott Hall was a world champion. I mean, is that classified? I don't know. It's under the USWA name then, but it's the old AWA world title. I mean, I guess if Lawler would have made USWA more out there, USWA probably could have been a bigger federation. They had a lot of talent back then, right? So, oh well, I guess we'll never know. I guess it's you to decide if Ramon was world champion then or not. We'll just leave it at that. Next up, we got the wrestler with Mr. Backlund Wants You, President Backlund. Oh my God. Bob Backlund, man. There's a guy, it's funny, right? They talk about the new generation in the WWF in 1994, 95, and we got Mr. Bob Backlund, who's straight out of the before Hogan era. That was like the era back when Backlund, I mean, think about there, he was shooting guys like Ken Patera, Magnificent Morocco, stuff like that. It was way before the Hogan era, but yet Bob Backlund somehow suited the new generation because he was everything that the new generation wasn't. So that's probably how that worked for him and the company at the time. Let's see, October 95 for Inside Wrestling, we get the WCW mid-year report. So the wrestler gave the WWF mid-year report. Inside Wrestling did the WCW mid-year report. They got Savage and Hogan Shadow, Renegade, Too Soon to Tell, Hulk setting the pace, Vader, Power Failure, and Sting, WWF bound. No, that didn't happen. We get color pages in here. There's, an Inside Wrestling Classic. There's the Road Warriors against Ivan Koloff and Baron Von Raschke. All right, here we go. We got Alex Wright, this Wunderkind. There he is. We get Big Van Vader, Angry Power Bomber, the Macho Man, Macho Madness, and Hulk Hogan. Hulkamania still rules. There we go. Now we have for October Hulk Hogan with the WCW title belt on around his waist, the big gold belt. So this talks about Bash at the Beach, I guess. This must have been the Bash at the Beach with Vader. Yeah, it must be, because 1995, yeah. But we got Sting as the nice photo there. Even Bobby Heenan had a story in here, a column, so. All right. October of 95 for the WWF magazine gives us Bret Hart getting ready to give Jean-Pierre Lafitte a backbreaker. No doubt setting up for the middle rope elbow drop, a pin, and a kick out. So, I mean, Bret Hart matches were kind of, they had a routine. They were good. I always like Bret Hart matches, though. But yes, he did have his routine set moves. But I think all wrestlers do, so you can't really knock Bret. Every single wrestler has set routine moves, right? Sharpshooting with the Hitman. Bret shoots from the hip in an exclusive candid interview. And exclusive, the man behind the 1-2-3 Kid. Next up now, we have November of 1995 for Pro Wrestling Illustrated. We got Razor's Foolproof Intercontinental Title Plan, Sabu challenges Bret, and why Shawn snubbed Diesel. Sizzling SummerSlam Secrets. The photo here, of course, is of the Hulkster with the WCW title. This is also the magazine that talks about Bigger Than WrestleMania and Starrcade combined. That was that show they did in North Korea. The Dark Side of the Ring talk about that. There's Flair and Inoki. The Steiners are there. So there's pictures in here of the event, which is kind of neat. And what a crazy story that was. Anyone who's seen Dark Side of the Ring would know what happened there. That was, those wrestlers almost had to, they were probably wondering if they're even going to get home. It's kind of scary. November of 95 for the wrestler, we get, if Savage can't silence Flair, he's through. Take that and shut up. And then, of course, the Mabel Monarchy, 10 ways the new King of the Ring can serve mankind. No, not Mick Foley, but just mankind in general. What do we got? We got Jarrett and Ramon's Next Step. The Scaffold, that didn't happen. They had some ladder matches, but not a scaffold match. Thank God. Scaffold matches are absolute shit. I don't care. Name me one good scaffold match. I can't. Honestly, I can't think of one. They were horrible. Wrestlers got hurt in them. It just made no sense to do those matches. They were garbage. Plain and simple, just garbage. Next up for November 95 for Inside Wrestling, we get one defense in 4 months. Strip Hogan of the title now. Oh, there we go. And King of the Ring proves the WWF New Generation has what it takes. Well, that was the worst King of the Ring in a lot of history there. Honestly, Mabel versus Savio Vega was the finals. When everyone wanted Shawn Michaels to win the tournament, he went 15 minutes with Kama Mustafa and didn't even advance in the tournament. So it was a great match, but still, he didn't advance. I thought I'd never fly again the night Alex Wright lost his nerve. So, all right. Next up now is, finally, we get to see on the cover of a WCW magazine, The Giant. Look at that. There he is. The Giant. Giant problems ahead for Hulkamania. So, yes, Paul White is now here in WCW. He's going after the Hulkster. Let's see, is there a poster here of, remember, that was supposed to be War Games. Sting, Vader, Hogan, and Macho Man. It turns, of course, Vader got fired for that fight with Mr. Wonderful. Ended up going to the WWF for the Royal Rumble. So who took his spot? Lex Luger, the returning Lex Luger. There's Kurosawa and Hacksaw Jim Duggan. The Giant's even on the back here. Halloween Havoc. He's squishing Sting, Hogan, and Savage. So the Giant now fully into WCW. Up next, we have December of 95 for PWI. We got Why Mabel is Diesel's Nightmare. Of course, they would be wrestling at SummerSlam, and Mabel almost destroyed Diesel's back by landing on his back when he told him not to. Apparently, Mabel was not a very safe worker at times, and I'm surprised the Clique didn't get Mabel fired, right? I mean, apparently the Clique had some power, so this, of course, Sonny and Skip here is the centerfold. So that's all right. More Sonny the better, I say. Yokozuna, time bomb set to destroy Owen. You know, and a real story behind the Regal Eaton team. You know, it's some good stuff there, right? Sting, I will take my title on high, too. That was when he was U.S. champion, so... And it's true, he defended it, and that's why he ended up losing it to Kensuke Sasaki, and instead of for that whole Starrcade Japan versus WCW stuff. December 95, I love this magazine. This was an awesome cover. I bought it when I was a kid. Shawn Michaels, too good to be second best. There he is with the Intercontinental Championship. We also have the wrestling rule book for the 90s. There ought to be a law. An exclusive Mama Cornette Speaks. So we got colored photos in here, do we? It says colored section. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there it is. There's Lex Luger and Ric Flair. There's Hakushi and Bret Hart. We got Sabu and Al Snow. Looks like Sabu's trying to decapitate Al Snow through the chair. And Smoky Mountain Wrestling, we get Jim Cornette when he was like the Cornette Militia with Tracy Smothers there and Dr. Tom Pritchard. And there it is. I'm ready to cut James out of my will. Uh-oh. Look out, Jimmy Cornette. You don't want to lose all that money from your mom. She helped pay your fines all those times, right? Now, we have, for December 95, for Inside Wrestling, White with Fright, Green with Envy, Why the Undertaker Had to Bury Kama, Vader Chokes Against Hogan and Flair's The Big Loser, and The Ultimate Warrior's Coming to Get You. Oh, Renegade Beware. Well, he didn't. Warrior and Renegade never once had a situation with being in the same room together. Waylon Mercy, Peaceful Man, Merciless Crippler. And of course, Waylon Mercy is Bray Wyatt's father. No, I'm kidding. It's just funny because Bray Wyatt looked a lot like Waylon with the stylish shirt and pants he wore wrestling. So, but yeah, Inside Wrestling. Next up now, we got the winter of Wrestle America, which is December because they go quarterly. Luger's message to WCW, leave me alone, all I want is the belt. Yes, Lex Luger is in WCW now. He left the WWF. He comes in, he's babyface at first with Hogan, turns on him, joins like the Dungeon of Doom kind of, or I don't really know. He's with Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart turned on Hogan too. What a weird time that was. The 1995 Turnbuckle Turkey Awards. We got Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan here shaking hands. We got Jeff Jarrett and Jim Powers. I'm not even sure where that's at. Some independent place because Jeff wasn't even in the WWF in 95 by this time. And Big Van Vader coming down with one of those Vader bombs on the Guardian Angel, a.k.a. Big Bubba Rogers. So now we get WCW, the December 95 issue. Harlem Heat, once again, 4 times. Blazed to Title 4. That's right. So they lost to the Nasty Boys, and that was their first time losing it. And man, they came back and they had so many. They did lost them, and they won them back from Buck and Slater. They won them back from Riggs and Bagwell. They were just constantly winning titles. But there they are. Made the cover there. Let's see if there's a poster in here. American Males, Scotty Riggs, and Marcus Alexander Bagwell. That's the poster. Do we have any on the back? Okay, we got Johnny B. Bad and Brian Pillman there. And Cobra, who ended up becoming NWO Sting. And here we have WCW figures. They're advertising them. So they're kind of like reminded me of the LJN WWF figures, but a little bit harder, not as quite as rubbery. So they actually hurt more if you got hit with them. November. Oh wait, I forgot. Sorry, I forgot November '95 for the WWF magazine. I'll get to these now. It has the Undertaker on the cover. Probably the reason why I forgot about it, because it's just, again, some of these covers weren't the best, right? But here's the December. This is the one. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll show it now. Why not? There it is. This is such a killer cover. Oh man, I had this magazine as a teen. This time there will be a winner. Bret Hart and Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Awesome. Just an awesome cover. Both of those guys are my favorites, along with Shawn Michaels. Just amazing. There is 2 extra magazines here because they do some winter ones sometimes, which I don't know why they did that, but for the PWI, it's the PWI 500, ranking the top 500 stars in wrestling. We see Sting, Alex Wright, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Sabu, Luna Vachon, Shawn Michaels, King Mabel, Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, and Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Of course, the poster here is of Diesel, who is the #1 guy. But we'll go through here and see who the top 10 are. So we got Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels, Sting, Bret Hitman Hart, Sabu, Hulk Hogan, Big Van Vader, the Macho Man Randy Savage, the Bad Guy Razor Ramon, and Misawa. Well, I know that part. How do you say Mitsuhiro? Misawa? I don't know. I just always pronounce it Misawa because I could never figure out that first name. So there's that. And last 2, we got Inside Wrestling. This is winter of '95. Again, ECW right there with Sabu on the cover there, and Chris Benoit, it looks like. Liger, Benoit, Sabu, Guerrero, Malenko. WCW puts wrestling back in wrestling. Yeah, but this is from ECW, right? This is... we got... What is it here? Come on. The Skip Sonny relationship. Is it this or this? So yeah, I don't know why they do some of those winter ones, but they do. So yeah, this is it. This is the 1995 year of wrestling magazines that I have. I know there's Wrestling Superstars had some. I just don't have them yet. Can't find them. I'm trying to find them. So I just did what I could do here, and that's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid collection there of magazines. And I just noticed too, I reached the hour part. I'm at 1 hour and 3 minutes right now. So I did reach over 60 minutes. So that to me is an accomplishment. So yeah, this is it. This is 1995 in magazine form. It was an interesting year. You know, you had the rise of ECW, you had WCW with the WWF invasion somewhat with a lot of the guys who were coming in there. You had WWF trying to move forward with who they had, building, the company around Diesel, who of course was just Vinny Vegas, 2-3 years earlier in WCW, losing opening round matches. But you got to try it, right? And Nash was a big guy. He's like 7 feet tall, 340 pounds or something like that. He wasn't on steroids. He was just naturally big. And Vince saw that, and Vince went with it. I remember there was a story where Lex Luger was in the back, and Vince was there, and Vince was looking out the curtain seeing Diesel, and he kept saying, I think it was to Bruce Pritchard or someone, or Pat Patterson, "Oh, look at him. He's so big. He's so big. Oh, he's so big." And right then, Lex Luger knew it's not happening for me. Because honestly, without... I think Lex would even have said that without steroids. Lex had a look. The steroids helped his look. It made him look big. It made him look spectacular. You wanted to notice Lex Luger then. When Lex Luger was off the steroids, he still looked good. He still had an amazing physique, but it wasn't the same Lex. It wasn't world championship Lex, right? It wasn't. But Nash always had that look. So this is it, 1995. What are your memories of 1995? Did you enjoy this year? You know, did you enjoy Diesel being champion? Did you enjoy Hulk Hogan being champion in WCW? Did you watch ECW then? Just anything, you know, let me know in the comments if you liked this year in wrestling. Of course, I always said it was one of my favorite years in WWF reasons only. I like Diesel, you know, and such. So he was, and Shawn, both guys were dominating titles, you know, Shawn Intercontinental, Diesel Heavyweight. But yeah, and I just want to say too, I'm now up to 65 subscribers for my channel. So I think that's pretty freaking cool. I can't believe 65 of you people follow this channel and watch these things and support me and like it and such. That's cool. So I'm hoping that it continues. I hope you enjoy this video. Like I said, I plan these probably will get a little longer each time because there's more magazines to choose from as each year goes on because wrestling got so hot then, right? So with that being said, I will definitely do another video. I hope you guys enjoy this one. I'm feeling way better now than I did the other day, so that's why this is a lot longer. You know, I hope everyone enjoys tuning into this and watching it. And until I do another one, I will talk to you later.